May you live in interesting times. May you live in interesting times. But what do you do when times get too interesting? What do you do when it all becomes too much? You have political upheavals, you have moral confusion, you have heavy news in the media day after day. What do you do when it all becomes too much to handle? You see, I'll tell you what I do. I like to manage things. And when things become unmanageable for me, I go somewhere. My process is this. First, I get overwhelmed. And then slowly, overwhelm begins to turn into numbness. And now I have a name for my state of numbness because I go there too often. And for every time I have come out of it, I have learned something. My state of numbness is something I call the portable wall. You see, it's like having a shield in front of you, behind which you hide yourself. I was in this place very recently. It was last week, Friday, at the end of work. I had my laptop still open. I had my phone. Let's imagine this together. I'm in my living room. I had my laptop on my thigh, my phone on my side. Let's pause for a minute. Whatever living room you're imagining right now, make it way smaller. Make it way, way smaller. But I'm sitting here. I have messages buzzing on my phone, either from important texts or maybe the thousands of reels that my friends choose to burden my life with. I had deadlines piling up. I had personal pressures in my own life. I had my TED Talk coming up in 1 week. And I just sat there, buffered, completely detached, not paying attention. You see, something was playing on the TV. I wasn't sure what it was or for how long it had been there. And then it slowly dawned on me that I had retreated behind the portable wall, not deliberately, very quietly. And even more disturbing was the fact that I went through that week like that. You see, one of the strangest things about a state of numbness, about being behind the portable wall, is that it is portable. So you carry it with you wherever you go. People hardly see it. When you're numb, you still show up to your routines. I still go to work. I went to work. I came back home. I ate my meals. But all of this mindlessly. You see, there is a difference between living life with your agency and with your presence and just going through routines. And as of last week, Friday at 4:30, I was just going through routines. And herein lies the danger. Because for every time I have gone behind this wall, something has happened. What was supposed to feel like safety was ridding me of the human experience, was making me uncaring. 3 big things happen when you go behind the wall. First thing, we stop caring. Nothing matters anymore. The things that you would normally pay attention to, heavy news that would affect you, no longer matter. You don't care. You're just in your own state. You think to be numb is to be protected. Second thing that happens when you go behind the wall is that you stop acting. You're not interested in anything anymore. Your participation is gone. Don't count on me to be there because I will not be there. That's a statement I make very often when I'm behind the portable wall. You stop using your agency. And the third thing that happens is that you stop imagining alternatives, and this, I think, is the most dangerous. Because for every time I have been stuck in this place, it's almost like I can't envision of a time different from now. You're stuck in that moment. It feels like all this overwhelm is what it's going to be for the rest of your life. And I tell you, it's very crippling. We live in very interesting times right now. Once again, heavy news in the media, the rise of artificial intelligence reshaping complete industries, technological revolution, institutions upon which many of us planned our careers completely disappeared overnight, many others wobbling. Of course, it's scary. Of course, numbness starts to feel like survival. It's one thing if 1 or 2 interesting things are happening within the period that you're living. You can manage that. But what happens when 5 things happen? When 10 things happen at the same time? I don't think our brains were designed for such intensity. So what do? Going numb begins to feel like survival. You see, for every time I've gone behind this wall, I've come out of it, I realized something. Behind here, I didn't have agency. Behind here, I didn't have the power. Behind the portable wall, whatever was chasing me in there had the power. I wasn't solving problems, I was surrendering to them. You see, it's like being chased into a room and then you lock the door from inside. For a minute, you feel safe, and then you realize you've only trapped yourself. And then you realize you've only trapped yourself. We often think that interesting times are a mistaken history, but no, interesting times are history happening right before our very faces. History books are not filled and are not written around the times where we had certainties, where things were calm. No, they are filled with fascinating eras of chaos, eras of uncertainty. But this is where our agency matters the most. This is where your presence matters the most. And this is when your participation counts the most. So I come here with a very simple question. How do we step out from behind the wall? How do we come out of a state of numbness? How do we choose to participate when withdrawal feels easier? How do we choose to be present when we could easily spectate from the corner? I give you three keys that I have used over and over again that have helped me come out of the portable wall. First of all, dare to notice the wall. You see, it's very easy to slip behind numbness without realizing it. I had been there for a whole week before it dawned on me that I was hiding, that I wasn't present, that I wasn't participating, that I was only going through routines. So dare to notice the wall. And how do you notice the wall? It's by having certain questions at the back of your mind. What am I doing right now? Am I spectating? To what extent am I using my agency? To what extent am I participating in this thing called life? Because it's not a spectator sport, no. It's a participation adventure. It's a community. We all have to give our parts. We all have to play our parts. For me, last week, Friday, daring to notice the wall was mostly remembering or realizing that, first of all, I'm here. I want to get out of here. I want to participate. What can I do? The usual long, hot shower, get dressed, go for a walk. This time without headphones, just paying attention to the world and the city within which I live. Because honestly, I tell you, it only takes paying attention to life for you to remember how much you want to be present for it and how precious it actually is. Second thing you do to come out of the wall is to replace panic with curiosity. You see, panic freezes the mind. Curiosity opens it. You replace questions like, oh, what's happening right now with what can I learn from this moment? What is this moment teaching us? What is happening in the world within which I'm living right now? Questions are key to keeping us mentally alive. When we start phrasing chaos as questions, we start developing solutions to things we didn't even know that we needed. So ask questions. For me, this looked like, okay, what exactly is happening to me and how can I best adjust? I read my TED Talk script for the millionth time. I responded to some emails. I responded to some reels. And I figured I want to be present somewhere. So I took a walk. The third thing I propose to do when you're behind the portable wall, when you're overtaken with numbness, is to choose participation over spectating. It's very easy, again, and I tell you this from knowing, it's very easy to just watch things happen, to be on the sideline. Now you're scrolling through the news, not reacting, buffered, nothing matters. You're spectating. No one is asking you to solve the world's problems. We're only saying choose to participate. One cause, one person, one community that you decide to show up in, fully present, fully using your agency, fully choosing to contribute something to life, no matter how small. Every generation likes to think that they are living in the most unprecedented times, and perhaps we're right to think that, but I think this is the moment where our presence matters the most. It's in these turbulent eras, it's in this scary eras, it's in these very interesting ones that we should stand. When it feels easier to withdraw, stand. Because that's where your human agency can most make a change. That's where your participation matters. That's where your presence matters. So when next the news starts spinning more than you can handle, when next it all becomes too much, When next it all becomes like it's like you can't keep up anymore. When next the temptation becomes to retreat behind the wall. I hope that you remember that the door exists. Because I'm not telling you to break your portable wall. No, sometimes you need protection. But I'm telling you to remember that there is a door that you can step out of, back into life, back into presence, back into feeling, back into being here. Because for as much as we think about it, I don't think the biggest dangers of the world that we live in right now is chaos. No, I don't even think it's the uncertainties. I don't even think it's the political upheavals. I think it's something quieter. I think it's numbness. I think it's when we as individuals and communities decide to withdraw, to stop paying attention, to care less, to no longer be a part of it. Therein lies the danger. So when next it starts to feel too much, when next you start to wonder what you